Now we're going to cover the final pattern. There were three patterns I'd ask you to memorize. This is the final one. This is a URUL, URUL. And if you notice in the URUL, URUL, every other U is reversed. So it'll be a U, then a reverse U, then a U, then a reverse U. Every other R is reversed, R, and then a reverse R. And when I say reverse, I mean counterclockwise. And then with the L's, we start out that the first L is counterclockwise, the second is not. So if you could just remember URUL, URUL, and then remember that every other one will be reversed, but the first L starts out counterclockwise. So let's take a look. If our cube is to the right level where we're ready for this pattern, then that means the two bottom layers are solved, and that means our top is a yellow plus, and the centers are all matched up. If that's the case, then you're ready for this step. Now it might be that when you got to this step, your cube was solved. You might have gotten that lucky, it could happen. But if it's not, then let's take a look at what our next step will be. What this pattern will give us is it will put every cube in the right corner. Now it may not be oriented right, but it will be in the right corner. If we take a look at this cube, the cube that belongs in this corner would be a red, a green, and a yellow. But we see this cube is a yellow, red, and blue. So this one doesn't belong here. This cube doesn't belong here. Green, red, yellow. This cube doesn't belong here. This cube doesn't. So in this one, we don't have any that are right. Let's take a look and see if we have any that are right in this cube. And I don't see any that are right in that cube. And let's look at this cube. In this cube, we did have one that's right. And not only is it right in the right spot, it's oriented correctly. So that's good for us. That makes it easier for us. And it looks like that's the only one that's oriented correctly. So we're going to start with this one later. In this one, since no corner is in its right spot, we're going to do this pattern. And since no corner is in its right spot, it doesn't matter how we hold the cube. Just hold the white to the bottom, and you're going to do this process. So let's start out. We're going to hold green facing us, and you don't want to change how you're doing this in the middle of the cube, or in the middle of the rotation. So I'm going to have green facing me. White has to be to the bottom. And with green facing me, I'm going to do a upper, right, reverse upper, reverse L, upper, reverse right, reverse the upper, and then bring the L forward. So now let's take a look. We could have gotten lucky and everything went into its right spot. So if we take a look, this one is in the right spot and it's oriented correctly. This one needed to be blue, yellow, and red, but it's not. This one needed to be orange, yellow, and blue, but it's not. And this one needed to be green, yellow, and orange, so it's not. So we really only have one that's in the right spot, and we're lucky enough to have it oriented right. So whenever you have one that's in the right spot, and again, whether it's in all the right, twisted the right spot or not, you still want to take the one that's in the right spot and hold it in the right corner facing you. So now it's important that the red faces me. Now when we go through this pattern, the L is kind of confusing as to what's reversed or counterclockwise or not counterclockwise. And so since this is our L, clockwise would be as if the L were facing you, this is clockwise, this is counterclockwise. But it's going to be off to your side, so you just have to remember this would be clockwise, this would be counterclockwise. So let's go through our pattern. We're going to hold the one that is solved, and again, it doesn't have to be oriented right, just so it's got the right three colors on it. We're going to hold that in the right corner, because in this part, all we really got to do is get all of each of these four in the right corner, just not, it doesn't have to be in the right color of the side yet. So let's hold this to the upper right, and we're going to do the URUL, URUL. So I'm holding red toward me because this is in the right spot. So we'll say U, R, reverse U, then reverse L. Then we'll do a U, reverse R, reverse U, and the L. So now if we take a look, this one's still in its right spot and it's oriented right. This one is in its right spot and it's oriented right. This cube, even though it's not oriented right, we know this cube needed to be a yellow, blue, and orange, and it is in the right spot. This cube we know needed to be a red, yellow, and blue, and that's what it is, red, yellow, and blue. So this cube is done with this step. So the URUL has solved this cube. Let's set it off to the side. Let's take a look at this cube. Do we have any in the right spot? I don't see any in the right spot, so it doesn't matter how I hold it. So I'm just going to start out like this. U, R, reverse U, reverse L. Then we'll do it again. U, reverse R, reverse U, then the forward L. So let's take a look and see if anything's in the right spot. Here is a yellow, red, and green. So this is in the correct spot. That's where it needed to be, yellow, red, and green. So that's it. This one's not in the right place. This one's not in the right corner. And this one's not in the right corner. So now we do have one in the right corner, and we're just going to repeat that process. This is the one that's in the right corner. Green, yellow, red, green, yellow, red. So we're going to hold this in the upper right corner, and we're going to keep the red facing us, and we're going to do the URUL, URUL. So let's do U, R, reverse U, reverse L, then U, reverse R, reverse U, and then forward L. So now let's take a look and see what we have. Yellow, green, red in the right spot. This one's not in the right spot. This one's not in the right spot. This one's not in the right spot. So with that being the case, we just repeat this process again. So because this one's in the right spot, let's go U, R, U, L. And we're going to do a U, R, U, L. And let's check them again. Yellow, red, blue, that's correct. Yellow, green, red, that's correct. Orange, yellow, green, that's correct. And this one's in the right spot, and it's twisted and it's oriented correctly. So now this cube is done with this step. And this step was the yellow plus the sides match, and then each corner cube is in the correct spot. Let's take a look at this one. This is the cube that's in the right spot, so we're going to hold it to the right. U, R, reverse U, reverse R, I'm sorry, reverse L. Then we'll do a U, reverse R, reverse U, and then a forward L. And let's take a look at our cube. Not in the right spot. That one is. That one's not. And this one's not, because this needs to be yellow, red, and green, and it's yellow, orange, and green. So we'll just do the process again. Put the one that's in the right spot in the facing you in the right. And we'll go U, R, reverse U, reverse L, and then we're going to do a U, reverse R, reverse U, clockwise L. Let's take a look again. Now this is in the right spot. This one's in the right spot. This one needed to be yellow, red, and blue, and it is. This one needed to be yellow, green, and red, and it is. So we're really close to done, and the next process that I show you will be what solves those. It won't be something, it won't be a pattern you have to memorize. It'll just be a pattern that you repeat over and over, and then we will take a look at that in the next step. But what we solved here was we have every cube in the right place. The corners may not be oriented right.